And I know they want Bellingham for next season, but Yuri Tillemans is in the shop window now. Go and get him, Liverpool. It'd work perfectly for you guys. What are you expecting from Liverpool? Do you reckon they'll start Darwin Nunez? Do you reckon they'll be looking at changing their midfield system a bit? How do you see this going, Sam?
I feel like when he came on, he sort of gave him an edge.
They were more direct, weren't they? You could see they've been a bit more direct because they had a taller man up front for the first time in ages.
Yeah, so I feel like it would be good to see him start, to be fair. Yeah. A lot of times when teams do sign, these big players, sometimes they just put them on the bench to start with, and it does make sense. City just went in to start Haaland because, they needed to, whereas Liverpool had a bit of a pecking order, as you like to say, and obviously Nunez is still learning, the style of play and stuff. But no, it would be nice for him to start. He's somebody that I want to see do well in English football. I want to see him get 20, 25 goals. It'd be really nice for him as well.
I definitely think he'll get 25 goals this season, maybe like 15 goals in the Premier League and like 10 outside of the Premier League as well. And in their game against Fulham last week, and how it is quite surprising to see how they were kind of getting dominated in that midfield against Fulham of all teams as well. The Paulina, player from Sporting Lisbon, who I was raving about before the start of the season, he put in quite a big shift, and Andres Pereira did all right as well, the former Man United player. So I was just kind of thinking, Salim, as well, do you reckon Liverpool are still lacking one more midfielder in that team? They were looking at Tchouameni earlier this season, weren't they? But he went to Real Madrid. They were looking at Jude Bellingham. But what are your thoughts on Liverpool so far? Do you reckon they actually need another centre midfielder in their team?
Yeah, I think they probably do. The thing is, you have to remember, like, a lot of this sort of squad that Klopp sort of put together, a lot of these players have aged quite a lot since, he's sort of come in and taken over the squad. You look at Henderson and Milner, for example. But yeah, they could do with some fresh legs. I don't think they ever truly sort of replaced Wijnaldum, that energy that he brought to the team. I know they signed Thiago, who was a quality signing, but I see Thiago as a different type of footballer to Wijnaldum. So I feel like, they could do with like another sort of progressive box-to-box type of midfielder. Especially with Liverpool, with the type of football they play, they're going to expect rotation, and they're going to be playing, Champions League football and the cups, probably have a cup run. But for them, with their sort of style of play and energy levels they need, it would make sense. And yeah, I was watching a bit of that Fulham game. It was nice to see Mitro do well as well, because he's sort of become that striker that's amazing in the Championship, but people would say he couldn't really cut it in the Prem.
Yeah, he was in that half league between everyone, like with Timo Pukki, that kind of area where like he could do it really well in the Championship, but never really can do it in the Premier League. So he looks a lot faster than when I last saw him like 2 seasons ago in the Premier League as well. So it's clearly worked on his pace. He's always been a strong striker, and he's always been someone you can depend upon to hold up the play. But I think that extra bit of speed and agility when he got fouled by Van Dijk as well, that was really fun to see, because it's given him an extra layer of competitiveness this season as well. By the way, I think Yuri Tillemans would be sick for Liverpool. I'd love him at Man United, but if Yuri Tillemans went to Liverpool, they would be a top quality midfield as well. I know they want Bellingham for next season, but Yuri Tillemans is in the shop window now. Go and get him, Liverpool. It'd work perfectly for you guys as well. Even Thomas Souček, I would think, would be a pretty decent player for them if they were to go for someone like that. Conor Gallagher, maybe not.
I'm not sure why, but it's sort of an open question to anyone, really, is that why is no one signing Aouar from Lyon, Jose Aouar?
Yeah,
because
Nottingham Forest were looking at him as well. 15 million.
I'm sure at one point Arsenal were looking to pay about 40 to 50 for him a couple of seasons back, and he's still a young player. I'd love to have him at Villa Park as well. So I'm not too sure really what's happening there, because in my opinion he's a top talent, and it'd be nice to see him go and come to the Premier League, really. Because I'm sure Arsenal were going to pay 50 to 60 for him at one point.
Yeah, and then they got Odegaard, and this season they got that Vieira guy as well. So that's something.
Yeah, Fabio Vieira. Yeah,
they finally got their players in there.